Hello and welcome back to Warrior Priest, and yeah, we just in the last episode took Fort Bracha, and I'm very much hoping that we will be able to eliminate Mr. Luka Braganza. He seems to be a little bit of an annoyance at the moment, and this is what is currently going on the world map. Obviously, we do have this rebellion over here, but I am actually not worried about that in the least. There's a good reason for that. Because here's the thing, as soon as these guys went into a rebellion, they also pretty much became untargetable by the other factions in the game. Unless they obviously declare war against them, but that's highly unlikely considering they're facing an opponent as strong as our faction is at the moment. So obviously that's not going to really work out too well for them if they decided to do that. But otherwise, we have Selena over there. Selena is hopefully going to be taking this town. Hopefully it's going to be relatively quick. She has, she has almost 1,600 units. And I thought, hey, you know what? It's been a while since we've done one of these one-on-one fights. Usually we either have something where I'm completely outnumbered or whether we are completely outnumbering the opponent. So I'm thinking, hey, let's do this. Let's go in and see what I can do here. Obviously, I would very much like to make the whole mortar and cannon thing work, but I mean, you can see here, I mean, like, yeah, I'm not into... I'm not entirely sure. Do I need to tell them to actually... Wait a minute. Do I need to tell them to hold fire? I'm going to tell my archers to hold fire because I want to see if the engineers actually go ahead and go on the mortars. Let's just see whether they do that. Gonna just tell everyone to charge with the exception of these guys because I don't want them to get murdered nevertheless, and doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like they're actually doing anything, which is... It's still remarkably sad, you know, but, I mean, what can I do about it, you know? What can I do? Anyway, let's see if I can get a really, really nice line attack. Oh, they are just standing there so perfectly. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah. That is what I like to see. Okay, don't kill myself. Oof, that was close. Okay, that was a bit too close for my liking. Okay, I was actually thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe I should try to use my pillar. But then I'm also thinking at the same time, maybe not the best idea. Because if I were to use the pillar, it's going to not do much. And it's... Yeah, look at this, look at this. My guys are getting massive amounts of kills. I like it. Oh, that is very, very good. I love it. All right. More of that, please. More of that. My wizards and so on and so forth are getting a bunch of different little bits of experience here and there. So I'm very, very happy about that. And, oh, there we go. Got my line attack back. Let's do it. Boom. Just going to do it randomly right here. Hopefully kill a couple. Don't really mind how many I kill. And then we're just going to get out our gun again and do some additional damage. I was actually thinking, hey, maybe it would be an idea to... Obviously, considering the series is almostly... Oh, come on. What am I saying? Yes, you know me. You know me. You know I completely intended to say that, right? Just like I completely intend to shoot my own units. Indeed. Yes, I know. Yeah, yeah, so... Anyway, glossing completely over that. Because the series is almost at an end, as one might intend to say, I was thinking whether I should do a witch hunter. But then I think to myself, well, I've already kind of used a gun. And the only other gun that I can really think of to use would be kind of that sniper weapon, you know, the long-range rifle that did so much damage to me in one of those previous tournaments. Because, I don't know whether you remember that, but in one of the previous episodes, I took, I think it was, what was it now, 379 damage? Yeah, kind of... amazing. And I was actually thinking maybe I should do that. But then I thought, well, we've kind of explored as much as we can so far in the Old Realms, which I gotta say I'm kind of saddened by because I absolutely love it. I think it is a super well-polished, incredibly fun experience. And I'd highly recommend playing if you can. I actually saw something. Some of my advice was okay, obviously, but here's the thing. This is something I didn't mention in a previous episode. So if you obviously missed either the comment from the modding team or just generally maybe you don't have this knowledge, because I actually didn't know about this either, so this could be useful to you. So if you are indeed having crashes in this mod, the best thing you can do is change your texture streaming size to very high or something like that, and that apparently makes a difference in your crashing rate. So hopefully that's going to help you in some way or another. I obviously don't exactly know. I must have it on very high or on high or something, because I'm obviously not crashing that much. I think I've only crashed once or twice in the Necromancer series, and I think I've not crashed at all in this particular series, which is actually kind of incredible to me, because usually I crash even in the base game. So yeah, that's that's a testament, isn't it? Yes, that is an absolute testament to how polished and optimized the mod is, as long as you have the right settings. If you have the right settings, everything's going to be absolutely fine, and you're not going to have any issues whatsoever. Apart from that, literally, the only thing I can suggest, if it is actually any good for me to suggest anything, by the way, because sometimes it's not very useful if people, you know, that already have things working are suggesting stuff, because maybe you've already tried those things, you know what I mean? But what I want to say is the mod list, my mod list in the description. Any single time you can, get the same mod version that that I'm playing on, or that you're playing on. So for example, if you're playing on 1.7.1 like I am, then obviously you're going to want to try and find 1.7.1 in terms of the mod itself. Obviously, if you're talking about things like butterlib, or you're talking about things like maybe UI extender or one of those other mods, I don't believe you actually need those to play this mod. But if you want to copy my mod list exactly, then you're obviously going to have to use these, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I basically just keep them installed just in case, because I don't really want to do that whole thing where maybe I need butterlib for something, but then I forget to put it back in, and then it just gives me a whole bunch of extra problems. So generally, I just keep it in the folder whether I need it or not. But yeah, anyway, point is, try to always get the same version that you're playing on. So if you're playing on, like, for example, 1.7.1, then try to get the same mod version. If it is like butterlib, like I was intending to say before, if it is like butterlib or something like that, then you probably want to make sure that the basically just generally butterlib has a lot of compatibility. It can basically be compatible with pretty much any version as far as I'm aware, as long as it's relatively... That is probably the worst pillar I have ever seen. Yeah, anyway, that notwithstanding, yeah, I have seen butterlib and UI extender and all those things. They all have massive amounts of compatibility for all kinds of different versions, and that is how it is for a couple of mods as well. So if that is indeed the case, then you're not really going to need to match it to the version of the game that you're playing on. You can pretty much just go, okay, I'm going to get the latest version, and then hopefully that's going to work. If that does not work, then obviously you can just roll back to a certain date. For example, if you take a look at the first episode of this series and when it came out, or shall we say the first episode of the Necromancer series and when it came out, then you can take a look at the date of the updates of the various mods, and then you can see which one is the most likely for me to download, obviously. So it takes it. That's the thing. That's the reason why I have in the past been not too pleased about the whole modding process. And obviously this is not the modding team's fault, and I'm not even talking about just this mod. I'm talking about the modding community as a whole, because if you are thinking about modding Bannerlord, it is a bit of a headache sometimes. When you can get something working like I have right here, it's probably a good idea to just kind of keep it that way, because as I say, it is a fickle beast. It is an absolutely fickle beast, and it can turn on you in an instant. And I act like it's alive or whatever, but for me specifically, I have had a lot of headaches surrounding modding the game, And don't worry, it's not just you or people you know or whatever. If you're having issues, I've been there as well. I have been there as well. And it is just a case of, if you have a problem with crashes, just basically disable mods that you think you can live without, and then see whether they are causing the crash. And if they're not causing the crash, then disable the mods that you are a little bit more wanting to keep, and then just do it through a process of elimination. And then eventually you're probably going to figure out that there is actually a mod that is not working for you. But then the cool thing that once you found the culprit, you can basically make it so that you just disable that one, and then every other mod will be working, and then all of a sudden everything is well. And then you can play the game. And obviously, if you don't have that one mod, it's not that bad. You know, I've had that in the past as well, where I have thought to myself, oh, it was so cool to have that mod, you know, I really wanted to have that for this series, and so on. And then I think to myself, well, I don't really need it, because I'd rather have a stable game than one that is going to crash a lot. So that's really what I tend to focus on when I'm attempting to find the problem. Hopefully that's kind of helpful to you. I suppose the texture streaming thing is definitely going to be the main deal, and definitely the thing I believe that you're probably going to have solve your problem. So if you are someone that is playing the old realms, just put your texture streaming a little bit higher, and then you're hopefully going to have that problem fixed. And then you can play around with the wonderful Mr. Count Dieter von Hein. Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful person, isn't he? Anyway, yeah, so hopefully it's going to work out for you. And otherwise, let's launch an assault against the rebel base. And then what we're going to do is hopefully head on over to the last fief, if it is not taken by Selena, of course. And we've already eliminated one of the walls. The other wall is doing very well. It's very healthy, actually, the other wall. There we go. All right, so now we can head on in, and I'm going to try and use some wonderful spells here as well, because personally I absolutely love using spells. I think they are super, super fun. And personally, it's kind of... I know that generally people may not agree with this, but whenever I'm in a fantasy world, so let's say I'm playing an RPG of some kind, and there is a number of different races to select from, and I'm talking about, you know, I don't know, let's take the D&D universe, for example, right? The D&D universe. So let's say you have, I don't know, elves, tieflings, what else? Halflings, dwarves, lizard men, you know, so on and so forth, right? Dragon, what are they called again? They're not called Dragonborn, are they? I think they are called Dragonborn. That is actually quite amusing, considering Skyrim and all that. But whatever the case, the point is, you have a whole bunch of different fantasy races that are just so incredibly cool looking, and, you know, they have great lore behind them and stuff like that. And then you have humans. And obviously, you know, you obviously don't have to play a fantasy race, but generally for me, I feel like it would be more fun to play as one of those. And it's the same thing when there's magic included in the game. So if there's magic included in the game, I would love to use the magic rather than, well, quite clearly not, because if I'm not using magic, then what am I even doing playing a fantasy mod, you know what I mean, or a fantasy game in many respects. It's like, I don't know, it's like, it's a bit strange to me, but, well, whatever the case, it is all up to the player, which in my opinion is very cool. I love the fact that you can actually choose, you know, because otherwise if you couldn't choose, then that would be an absolute travesty, wouldn't it? Anyway, let me see what I can do here. Oh, this is good, here we go. Nice. Look at that damage. Oh, they have just fallen before us. Very nice. Let me reload real fast. Point blank shot to the... Never mind. I was going to say point blank shot to the face, but no. He decided to completely avoid it, Neo style. I'm kind of surprised that he was actually able to avoid that, considering it was right in his face, but alright. Anyway, we did eliminate 165 of the enemy. And we can now take all of the prisoners and rescue a couple too. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. And we have now taken Voldenhof, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be claiming this straight away, then going to manage the town. So here's the thing. The loyalty, obviously, because it has now been, you know, rebelled against and so on and so forth, it has a very decent amount of loyalty. I'm basically just going to leave it the way it is right now. I'm not going to put any project in motion right now, because I'd like to actually put a bunch, actually I can't even put a bunch of units in the garrison. Oh, it seems like they've already put people. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, that's that's good then, I guess. Seems like we don't even have to worry. But whatever the case, I will just put a little bit of an auto garrison in there, and there we have it. And we're just going to sell what we have otherwise, and then we can just go over here. But yeah, basically I just wanted to make sure that we had a decent amount of security before actually navigating away from constructing our projects in the building menu, in the managing town menu, that is. Because I really wanted to make sure that we don't have a rebellion on our hands that soon. That would be very bad, in my opinion. That would be very, very bad. All right, so, yeah. So we have basically eliminated the rebels. And who is... that's Baroness Molly. She seems to be running away relatively nicely. All right, good work for you. There you are. And, yeah, so the vampires are obviously still running around. They have made peace with us, though, because obviously they were forced to due to war exhaustion. And I'm actually just going to go. I'm literally just going to go over to the fort over here. Oh, it seems like Marius, with his horse, Daisy, is deciding to trot on over there, which is actually very nice of him, to be honest. I'm supposing he doesn't even know what he's doing at the best of times, but still. Anyway, let's just put this into effect so we gain some influence, and we're also gaining security as well, which I very much appreciate. And yeah, so we might as well go and help Marius to take the final castle, because indeed this is the final castle. And if they do decide to declare war against us for some reason or another, and I'm talking about anyone here at this point, then they are welcome to. They can... Oh, wow. He has a lot of troops. Okay, you know what? I'm literally just going to allow him to do this himself. He's probably going to be able to do this much faster than I am. Isn't that true? Oh, he's having difficulties, actually. He's having a lot of problems. Okay, I'm a bit worried about this, actually. I'm sure he's going to be absolutely fine, but I am still worried nevertheless. I mean, really, I'm still kind of worried considering... Oh, I'm running out of food. It's good that I actually realized that, isn't it? Okay, yes. And, yeah, so the fort is going to be taken. There we go. It has been taken. And that is it. There we are. That is actually it. So we have a full and complete domination over the entire... Wow, this town doesn't even have any food. Really? Okay. Well... I guess it's as good a time as any to finish up the series. But there you go. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. We were able to keep ourselves afloat with the amount of money that we were making. We were able to fend off a lot of different attacks. I don't know, were we taken prisoner at all in this series? I'm actually not entirely sure if we were taken prisoner at all, but whatever the case, here is, I'm not going to make a decision on that at the moment. Here is the overview. So you can see here, the Moot, 81 combat strength. Wissenland, they have 1.9. The vampires actually have a significant amount of combat strength, as you can see right there. But, well, I mean, what are they going to do with it? You know, because eventually all of our garrisons and things are going to be very, very strong. They could potentially come back and do some damage with... you know, a relatively large army, because their total combat strength is definitely pointing towards that they could possibly do that. But what is the point at this juncture? There really is no point for them to do that, and there is not much point in us waiting for them to do that either, because we basically own the entirety of the map at this point. So I am very pleased. Had a lot of fun with the warrior priest, as well as obviously using a gun, even though, you know, people... I explained at the very start that I was going to use a gun with Warrior Priest, and everyone was like, "It's a witch hunter," and then I was like, "Well, yeah, but I have a spell and stuff." Anyway, I'm obviously just kidding around a little bit, but yeah. Anyway, I thank you very much for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you next time.